Silence is power, the Stoic secret to control any situation. They expect you to react, to defend yourself, to explain, to seek approval. But what happens when you do nothing, when you remain silent? They panic. They second-guess themselves. They start fearing your presence. The most powerful individuals in history understood one truth. Control doesn't come from speaking. It comes from knowing when not to speak. Silence is a weapon, a shield, a mystery, and those who master it master the world. Think about the most feared and respected leaders in history. Marcus Aurelius, Napoleon, Miyamoto Musashi. They didn't waste words. They spoke only when necessary, and when they did, their words cut like a blade. The rest of the time, they observed, they listened, they controlled the room without saying a word. Now, look at the opposite type of person. Someone who talks too much, who reacts emotionally, who constantly explains themselves. Do they command respect, or do they come off as weak, desperate, and easy to manipulate? This is where Stoicism and dark psychology come together. When you understand the power of silence, you control any situation. You become unpredictable. People can't figure you out, and that is where your true power begins. Welcome to Stoic Mastery, where we unlock the hidden powers of Stoicism, dark psychology, and mental dominance. If you're ready to become unshakable, hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because the world belongs to those who control themselves first. And now, let's dive into the Stoic secret that will make you unpredictable, unshakable, and untouchable. Number 1. The power of restraint. Why speaking less gives you control. Have you ever noticed that the most powerful people in any room are often the quietest? They don't rush to speak, they don't explain themselves unnecessarily, and they never waste words. Yet their presence is commanding. This is not by accident, it's a strategy. The most dominant leaders, skilled negotiators, and strategic thinkers throughout history have mastered one thing: the power of silence. They understood that words are like a currency. The more you spend, the less valuable they become. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers and Roman emperors, wrote in Meditations, "You always have the power of not having an opinion. Silence is a choice." And that is where most people fail. They talk too much. They reveal too much. They destroy their own power by speaking when they should be listening. But when you speak less, you create an aura of strength, mystery, and control that others cannot ignore. Why speaking less makes you more powerful? 1. It makes you mysterious. People fear what they don't understand. When you stay quiet, others are forced to wonder about you. They don't know your thoughts, your plans, or your emotions. This puts them in a position of uncertainty, and uncertainty leads to fear. In contrast, people who talk too much expose themselves. They reveal their intentions, their weaknesses, and their insecurities without realizing it. But the silent man, he remains unreadable, and that makes him dangerous. 2. It forces others to show their cards. In any negotiation, argument, or confrontation, the person who speaks the most usually loses power. Why? Because they reveal too much. Their emotions, their desires, their weak spots. Meanwhile, the one who stays silent observes, listens, and collects valuable information. This is a psychological trick used by great leaders, powerful businessmen, and even master interrogators. They allow others to keep talking, because every word spoken is a new piece of information they can use. 3. It makes your words more valuable. Imagine two people. One talks constantly, giving opinions on everything, never staying silent. The other speaks rarely, but when they do, their words carry weight. Who do people listen to more? The one who speaks less. That's because when you rarely speak, people assume that when you finally do, it must be important. Your silence builds anticipation, and your words become powerful. 4. It prevents emotional reactions. Most people talk because they feel pressured to fill the silence. This is especially true in tense situations. Think about an argument. When one person stays silent, the other becomes uncomfortable. They keep talking, hoping for a response. But the longer they talk, the more unstable and emotional they become. A Stoic remains still. They do not react. They do not let emotions control them. They remain calm, detached, and in control. And that is what makes them the most powerful person in any situation. The silent power play. Think about this scenario. Two people are in an argument. One is loud, defensive, and emotional. The other is calm, composed, and barely speaking. Who looks stronger? Who looks like they have the upper hand? It's always the one who stays silent. This is why silence is feared. It makes you unreadable. It forces others to reveal themselves before you ever have to say a word. And when you finally do speak, your words carry a level of authority that cannot be ignored. Comment below, "My silence is my power." Let's see how many true Stoics are watching. Now let's go even deeper into the psychology of silence and how it can create fear, respect, and influence. Number 2, the psychology of silence, how it creates fear and respect. Silence is not just a lack of words. It is a psychological tool that can control minds, manipulate emotions, and establish power. Most people fear silence because it creates uncertainty. When someone refuses to respond, refuses to react, and simply observes, it forces others to second-guess themselves. This is why the most feared and respected individuals throughout history have been masters of silence. They understood one fundamental truth: power is not in speaking, it is in controlling when and how you speak. Why silence instills fear. 1, it creates a psychological void. Most people are uncomfortable with silence. They feel an intense pressure to fill the void with words. This is where the real power of silence comes in. When you say nothing, the other person starts overthinking. They begin to wonder, did I say something wrong? Why aren't they responding? What are they thinking? This uncertainty destabilizes them. They become nervous. They start revealing more information, talking faster, and making mistakes, all because you refuse to speak. This is one of the greatest weapons in dark psychology. 2, it forces others to reveal their weaknesses. People hate uncertainty. So, when faced with silence, they will do anything to break it, even if it means exposing their weaknesses. Think about an argument. If you stay silent while the other person keeps talking, they will start to panic. They will try to guess your thoughts, apologize unnecessarily, or even weaken their own argument by over-explaining themselves. Meanwhile, you remain calm, collected, and in control. 3, it triggers self-doubt in others. Silence is an active weapon. It forces others to start doubting their own words. When someone argues with you and you refuse to react, they lose confidence. They might start questioning themselves. Did I say something stupid? Why are they not arguing back? Am I wrong? This doubt is powerful. It allows you to control their mind without ever saying a word. This is why master manipulators, elite negotiators, and powerful leaders all use silence strategically, because it forces their opponents to question themselves. Why silence commands respect. While silence can create fear, it also builds respect. Throughout history, the most respected figures were those who spoke the least but had the most impact. 1, it makes you appear more intelligent. People who talk too much are often seen as foolish. They waste words, make emotional arguments, and reveal too much. But when someone is silent, others assume they are thinking deeply, analyzing the situation, and choosing their words wisely. This makes you appear highly intelligent, even if you haven't said a single word. It creates an aura of mystery. People are naturally drawn to mystery. When you rarely speak, others become curious about you. They want to know what you're thinking, what your next move is, what you truly believe. This silent presence builds respect because people instinctively feel that you are above petty arguments, gossip, and unnecessary talk. 3. It forces others to listen when you finally speak. If you are always talking, people stop paying attention to your words. But if you remain silent and then suddenly decide to speak, everyone stops and listens. Why? Because your words are rare and valuable. They carry weight. They command attention. And that is why the most powerful leaders, warriors, and thinkers throughout history have always spoken less but influenced more. Comment below. My silence commands power. Let's see how many true Stoics are watching. The silent mindset. How to master the art of silence. Now that you understand why silence creates fear and respect, let's move to the next critical step. How to train yourself to master the art of silence in everyday life. Number 3. The silent mindset. How to master the art of silence in any situation. Mastering the art of silence is not about suppressing your voice. It's about cultivating a mindset that allows you to harness the power of deliberate quiet. When you commit to silence, you develop the ability to choose your moments of expression wisely, a skill that resonates deeply with Stoic philosophy and modern dark psychology. Begin by understanding that silence is a proactive strategy. Instead of feeling compelled to fill every gap in conversation, learn to appreciate the space between words. This pause isn't emptiness. It's a fertile ground where thoughts mature and intentions solidify. The Stoics believed that by controlling your internal dialogue, you gain dominion over your external actions. When you remain silent, you create an aura of mystery that makes others work to decode your intentions, a tactic that gives you the upper hand in any interaction. To develop this silent mindset, start with self-awareness. Reflect on your communication habits and notice how often you speak impulsively. Ask yourself why you feel the urge to fill every silence. Often it's driven by a need for validation or the fear of appearing uninformed. Recognize these impulses for what they are and remind yourself that true power comes from measured response, not frantic chatter. In moments of stress or conflict, take a deliberate pause. A few deep breaths can recalibrate your emotions, allowing you to respond with purpose rather than reacting impulsively. In practice, this means deliberately slowing down your conversations. When someone challenges you, resist the instinct to immediately counter their words. Instead, allow a moment of quiet to pass. This silence not only forces your interlocutor to fill the void, often revealing more than they intended, but also signals your inner strength and confidence. When you do speak, your words carry weight because they are the result of thoughtful reflection. This silent approach is also a potent tool in negotiations. The more you hold back, the more information you gather from your counterpart. People tend to overcompensate when left alone with their thoughts, inadvertently divulging weaknesses or shifting their stance. By mastering silence, you force them to reveal their cards first, thereby giving you a tactical advantage. Moreover, cultivating a silent mindset means developing emotional control. Stoicism teaches us that our emotional responses are within our control. Instead of allowing anger, fear, or excitement to dictate your words, use silence as a buffer. This detachment not only protects you from manipulation, but also projects an image of unshakable calm. When others see you remain composed, even in heated moments, they naturally attribute authority and respect to you. As you integrate these practices into your daily life, your silence will evolve into a form of strategic communication. It will become your tool for influence, negotiation, and control. Whether you're in a boardroom, a heated debate, or a personal conversation, The silent mindset empowers you to dictate the pace and tone of the interaction. Comment below, "My silence is my strategy." Let's see how many true Stoics are ready to harness this power. Remember, the mastery of silence is an ongoing journey. It requires practice, patience, and a deep commitment to self-control. Embrace the quiet moments as opportunities to reflect, recalibrate, and ultimately assert your true power. With each silent pause, you not only strengthen your inner resolve, but also command the respect and attention that only the truly disciplined can achieve. Number 4, mastering emotional detachment, the ultimate Stoic weapon. Emotional detachment isn't about becoming cold or unfeeling. It's about developing the ability to control your inner world so that external events no longer dictate your emotional state. This mastery of detachment is a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy and a key principle in modern dark psychology, empowering you to remain unshaken even in the face of chaos. At the heart of emotional detachment is the understanding that you have complete control over your reactions. The Stoics taught that while you can't control what happens around you, you can control how you respond. This idea is encapsulated in Marcus Aurelius's words, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." By internalizing this truth, you learn to let go of emotional baggage and focus on what truly matters, your own state of mind. One practical method for achieving this detachment is to adopt the dichotomy of control. Identify what lies within your power, your thoughts, actions, and responses, and what lies beyond it, such as other people's opinions or unpredictable circumstances. When you shift your focus to what you can control, you free yourself from the heavy burden of trying to manage the uncontrollable. This mental shift not only protects your inner peace, but also sharpens your strategic thinking. Developing emotional detachment also means cultivating a mindset of objective observation. Instead of reacting impulsively, train yourself to observe your emotions as they arise. Visualize them as passing clouds, transient and ever-changing. This practice, often achieved through meditation or reflective journaling, helps you recognize that emotions are not permanent and that they do not define you. When you view your feelings from a distance, you gain clarity and perspective, allowing you to make more rational decisions. In high-pressure situations, detachment becomes a powerful tool. Consider a heated argument or a tense negotiation. The individual who remains emotionally detached is better positioned to listen, analyze, and respond thoughtfully. By maintaining composure, you not only protect yourself from manipulation, but also gain the upper hand. Others may become overwhelmed by their own emotional reactions, inadvertently revealing vulnerabilities that you can use to your advantage. Dark psychology underscores the idea that those who control their emotions are far less susceptible to the influence of others. When you're detached, you neutralize common psychological triggers like fear, anger, and the need for validation. This detachment transforms you into an unpredictable force, someone who cannot be easily swayed by emotional appeals or pressure tactics. In essence, emotional detachment builds an inner fortress, shielding you from external manipulation while reinforcing your personal power. As you integrate emotional detachment into your daily life, you'll begin to notice subtle yet profound changes. Stressful situations will no longer overwhelm you. Instead, they'll become opportunities to exercise your inner strength. Over time, this practice not only refines your decision-making, but also deepens the respect and trust others have for you. In every interaction, you'll be seen as a calm, controlled force, a true Stoic warrior. Comment below. My emotions fuel my strategy, but they don't control me. Let's see how many true Stoics are embracing this power. Emotional detachment isn't about numbness, it's about mastery. It's the ultimate tool for turning every challenge into an opportunity to reinforce your strength and control. Embrace it, practice it, and watch as it transforms every facet of your life. Number 5, becoming the silent strategist, applying this power in life. Now that you've honed the art of silence and mastered emotional detachment, it's time to transform these skills into a strategic advantage that permeates every aspect of your life. Becoming the silent strategist means not only using silence as a shield, but also as a powerful tool to control, influence, and lead. Imagine entering a high-stakes meeting or a heated debate, not with a barrage of words, but with a calm, measured presence. When you choose silence strategically, you shift the dynamics in your favor. In negotiations, for example, the silent strategist listens intently, allowing others to reveal their positions, weaknesses, and even hidden ambitions. This surplus of information gives you a significant edge, as every pause becomes a calculated moment to assess, plan, and then, when necessary, deliver a response that carries unmatched weight. In daily interactions, your silent demeanor communicates confidence and control. People are naturally drawn to those who exhibit restraint. When you speak, your words are considered and impactful because they are infrequent yet deliberate. This approach forces your conversation partners to adjust. They become more cautious, more thoughtful, and sometimes even more vulnerable. That vulnerability is the key to gaining influence. When others see you as the silent strategist, they are more likely to defer, negotiate, or even concede, knowing that you are in full control of your emotions and reactions. Applying this power in life is about making a habit of strategic silence. Begin by setting clear intentions before every interaction. Ask yourself, what do I need to learn? What reaction am I seeking? Then, as the conversation unfolds, focus on listening more than speaking. Use your silence as a diagnostic tool. Observe body language, tone, and the nuances in what is said versus what is left unsaid. These cues are often more revealing than the words themselves. In leadership, the silent strategist inspires respect without the need for constant reassurance. Leaders who master silence create a space where others feel compelled to contribute, knowing that their own words might be weighed against your calm judgment. This environment not only boosts morale, but also encourages a culture of thoughtful communication and genuine collaboration. By modeling restraint, you cultivate a team that values measured decision-making over impulsive reactions. Relationships, both personal and professional, also benefit from this strategy. In moments of conflict, your silence can diffuse tension and force a more balanced dialogue. Rather than reacting with immediate defense or anger, you provide a pause, a moment for everyone to reconsider their positions. This pause is not a sign of indifference, but a demonstration of self-mastery and a clear signal that you are not driven by fleeting emotions. To put it into practice, start by embracing small challenges. Hold a pause during a disagreement. Allow silence to fill the gaps in conversation, and notice the shifts in how people respond. Over time, these small acts accumulate into a formidable habit, turning you into a strategist whose quiet influence is both respected and feared. Comment below, I am the silent strategist. Let's see how many true Stoics are ready to take control by mastering the power of silence. In a world saturated with noise and haste, your strategic silence becomes a radical act of power, a way to lead, negotiate, and shape outcomes without uttering unnecessary words. This is your invitation to embrace the silent strategist within and to wield the art of silence as your most potent tool for success. In the end, mastering silence isn't just a skill, it's a way of life. It transforms your inner world and radiates outwards, influencing every conversation, every negotiation, and every relationship. As we've explored, silence is not the absence of sound. It is a deliberate, strategic state that commands respect, exposes the vulnerabilities of others, and protects your inner strength. When you choose silence over idle chatter, you cultivate an aura of mystery and confidence. This quiet power forces others to reveal more than they intend, giving you a clear advantage. Whether you're in a heated debate or a calm discussion, the silence you maintain becomes a reflection of your control and self-discipline, a testament to your mastery over your thoughts and emotions. Remember the words of Marcus Aurelius: "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. This timeless wisdom is the foundation upon which the silent strategist is built. By internalizing this truth, you free yourself from the need to justify your actions, to react impulsively, or to seek validation from others. Instead, you remain centered, composed, and unshakable in the face of adversity. Practically, this means taking a moment before you speak, a brief pause that not only gives you time to think, but also disrupts the expectations of those around you. It means learning to observe rather than react, to listen more than you talk, and to let your actions speak louder than your words. Every silent moment becomes an opportunity to gather insights, to understand the dynamics at play, and to position yourself as the calm nucleus in a storm of chaos. In professional settings, the benefits of this practice are immense. Negotiators, leaders, and even everyday individuals who master the art of silence often find that their words carry more weight, their decisions are more respected, and their presence commands attention. By remaining silent, you allow the room to fill with the thoughts of others, thereby gaining critical insights into their true intentions and vulnerabilities. This strategic advantage is not about manipulation for selfish gain. It's about achieving a higher level of control over your environment and ultimately over your destiny. Moreover, the journey to embrace silent power is an ongoing process. It requires constant practice, self-reflection, and a commitment to growth. Start small by setting aside moments of silence throughout your day. Use these pauses to reflect on your experiences, to recalibrate your responses, and to strengthen your resolve. Over time, you will notice a profound transformation in how you perceive the world and how the world perceives you. Comment below. My silence speaks volumes. Let's see how many true Stoics are ready to embrace this transformative power.